Continuing to episode 8, Runa, Nikoru, and Akari were seen together. It was their first day back after the summer break. They were discussing their respective seating arrangements. In the classroom, Runa noticed Maria sitting alone, reading a book. Runa tried to approach Maria, but she immediately got up and left. Ryudo witnessed the incident and thought that Runa had started approaching Maria to befriend her. Ryudo believed that their plan to befriend Maria hadn't found the right opportunity yet. During break time, as usual, Ryudo, Ichi, and Nishi gathered on the school rooftop. Ichi shared about his summer vacation, which he spent just watching videos. Nishi felt the same way, sharing the sentiment with Ichi. They invited Ryudo, who had spent his break having fun with his girlfriend. Suddenly, Ryudo asked if Ichi and Nishi had free time next Saturday because he wanted to invite Runa to do something for the first time together. Ryudo mentioned that he and Runa wanted to play a survival game with their friends. Ichi and Nishi were surprised to hear this but seemed very interested in participating. To cut the story short, they found themselves at an airsoft gun game venue. Runa, Nikoru, and Akari were dressed like military personnel. The three men were stunned by the appearance of the three beautiful girls. The girls were taking selfies in their military uniforms. Ryudo, Ichi, and Nishi were speechless, feeling like they were in a completely different world. Seeing Runa's outfit, Ryudo approached her and quietly mentioned that her chest was slightly visible. He expressed concern about Runa exposing her skin like that. Nikoru dismissed Ryudo's comment, saying that a gal could die if she didn't have an open appearance. Akari just realized that her classmate, Nishi, was there, and she greeted and approached him. Nishi, who had never spoken to a girl, became blank and stumbled in his words. It was the first time a girl had called his name, and Akari called it twice. Nikoru approached them, and immediately, Nishi and Ichi called Nikoru the demon gal. This was because Nikoru always appeared tough and angry. It turned out that Nikoru, Nishi, and Ichi were on the same team in the game. Ryudo, Akari, and Runa were on the opposing team. Runa and Ryudo seemed to be teasing each other. Runa, with a pistol in her hand, said she would shoot right into Ryudo's heart today. Nishi and Ichi, witnessing this, felt jealous, of course. The game has begun. They started shooting at each other, but all their shots missed. Eventually, Nishi got hit by a shot from Ryudo, losing and exiting the match. Ichi, angered and determined to avenge Nishi, made Ryudo his target. However, when Ichi was distracted, it was he who got shot by Ryudo. As Ryudo and Runa were about to take cover, Nikoru appeared behind them. Ryudo became a shield to protect Runa, and he, too, exited the game. Akari was successfully shot by Nikoru. Now it was Runa versus Nikoru, a one-on-one showdown. They shot at each other, ran, and hid. Running out of bullets, Nikoru seized the opportunity, and Runa successfully shot her. The match was won by Runa, Ryudo, and Akari. They took a short break, and Nikoru was seen trimming her fingernails on her index finger because, according to her, they were bothering her when she pulled the trigger. Nikoru then took a larger rifle. In the next game, Nikoru appeared very enthusiastic, and her skills seemed much improved. She easily defeated the opposing team. The game concluded, but when they changed clothes, Runa realized she had lost her moon and star-shaped earring, which she usually wore on her left ear. According to Runa, it was one of her most precious belongings. Nikoru also knew about it because Runa never wore it to school, fearing it might be confiscated. Fortunately, it turned out the earring had only fallen into Runa's inner bag. Ryudo, too, just noticed that the earring held great value for Runa. He was curious why Runa only wore one earring. On the way home, they stopped by a cafe. Akari shared that she became interested in survival games because each rifle had different characteristics, which she learned after trying a few. Hearing this, Ichi responded enthusiastically as he was also keen on rifles and wanted to shoot even more. Ichi started babbling about the rifles they used, sharing a lot of his knowledge. The girls could only stare in amazement at Ichi's ramblings. Ryudo could only watch Ichi talking endlessly. However, unexpectedly, Akari connected with and understood what Ichi was saying. Although interested, Akari mentioned she didn't want to pick up a new hobby. Nikoru then said that in reality, Akari was also a maniac. Akari confessed that she was a fan of Vanilla Voice, a boy band she admired. Akari began to talk extensively about it, leaving the guys there unable to follow her at all, and they could only stay silent. Now let's continue with Nikoru, who says she's a manic when it comes to nails. She starts rambling about nails, their colors, and patterns. The guys can only stay silent while listening. Runa is very impressed by them because they have something they are passionate about, while she feels like she doesn't have that. However, Nikoru tells Runa that she actually has a mania for something too, looking towards Ryudo. Immediately, Runa and Ryudo blush upon hearing this. Nikoru also says that this time Runa looks satisfied, but honestly, this is tough for singles. Hearing this, Nishi whispers to Ryudo, asking if Nikoru doesn't have a boyfriend yet. Nikoru then says that until now, she hasn't been able to think about dating because she still can't move on from her ex. Nikoru shares that her ex was very cool, not in terms of appearance but in his behavior. Once, he wore earphones, and when Nikoru asked what he was listening to, it turned out to be Buddhist sutras. According to Nikoru, that was cool and different from others. Hearing this, Nishi, without hesitation, says it's the peak of teenage anxiety. Nikoru looks angry, but then she tells them that she dated him for only 2 weeks, but until now, she can't forget him, and he's the first person Nikoru truly loved. Nishi, in his innocent way, says that if it's only 2 weeks, it means Nikoru is still a virgin. But before he could finish his statement, Nikoru steps on Nishi's foot, making him scream in pain. Nikoru is very angry, and Nishi can only cower in fear. Akari then says that she wants to date someone tall. Ikai is immediately interested in Akari's statement because he feels like he's quite tall. Ichi says he's 181 centimeters tall. Akari looks impressed and says that's cool. Ichi looks very happy to hear that from Akari. After they finish chatting, they all go home individually. Now, only Runa and Ryudo are left. With some free time, Runa invites Ryudo for a date. Runa says she wants to go somewhere, and they end up at an amusement park, riding the Ferris wheel. Runa looks very happy because she has wanted to ride it with Ryudo for a long time. In that small space, Ryudo actually wants to kiss Runa. Runa then talks about a shoujo manga she read, where the main characters and their partners ate marble chocolates on the Ferris wheel and then kissed. They said, "You feel like marble chocolates," and then they laughed together. Runa read it in elementary school and thought it was too mature for her. Runa says that now they don't have chocolate, but they can still kiss. Runa then approaches Ryudo, and they both finally kiss. After the kiss, Runa asked, "What does it feel like?" Ryudo replied that it feels like the scent of peaches. Runa agreed, mentioning that she recently bought a lipstick with a peach tea aroma and loves it. Runa feels even more in love with Ryudo and expresses her desire to have her head caressed and be praised for playing well earlier in the day. Ryudo does just that, making Runa very happy. On their way home, Runa mentions that it's almost 3 months since they started dating, and she's excited about experiencing many firsts together. She feels a flutter in her heart and is so happy that she almost wants to cry. Ryudo then asks about their upcoming 3-month celebration and if there's anything special Runa would like to do. Runa suggests they don't need to celebrate as long as she can be with Ryudo. That's enough. She also shares that currently she feels like she's falling in love for the first time. In his heart, Ryudo wants to catch up to Runa. He desires to be a man worthy of her and decides to study diligently. Ryudo attends extracurricular lessons to learn more. However, at the lesson location, he sees Maria also studying there. Trying to avoid her, Ryudo sneaks out of the room. At the door, a guy pats his back, pretending to be his friend, and calls him by the name Yamada. Finally, out of the room, Ryudo and the guy visit a cafe. The guide introduces himself as Saka, having graduated from high school but not yet attending college. He expresses his intention to help Ryudo as he finds Ryudo's behavior suspicious. Saka asks about the woman Ryudo is avoiding, and Ryudo, feeling indebted, shares the story of Maria, his first love who is now his girlfriend's sister. Ryudo contemplates running away until the lesson ends as the only thing he can do. He doesn't want to involve himself with Maria, especially now that the lessons are in the same place. Saka realizes the situation and offers to help Ryudo. He promises to inform Ryudo if Maria is at Ikebukuro school and expresses his curiosity about Maria. For now, Saka suggests Ryudo focus on studying, as he feels there's no rush to attend college immediately after high school. The next day at school, the class president and the teacher form a committee for the cultural festival. The class president asks who wants to volunteer for the committee, but the class remains silent. When Maria raises her hand, Runa also volunteers. Ryudo and Maria look surprised. In his heart, Ryudo thinks that his plan to be friends with Maria has begun.